Before Rebecca and I officially started dating, we spent a lot of time together. We both loved snowboarding, and her family owned a small, secluded cabin near Stowe Mountain Resort. She invited me up for a weekend trip, just the two of us. It sounded perfect. The drive stretched for hours, and the last leg wound through an isolated forest road. Tall, skeletal trees lined the path, their branches heavy with snow. We passed empty houses, their driveways untouched, the windows like black, watching eyes. Rebecca said most were vacation homes left vacant during the winter. When we finally arrived, her cabin sat nestled in the trees like something out of a postcard. Small, snow-covered, and quiet. Too quiet. Inside, it was cozy enough. No running water, but her family kept jugs stored for necessities. The only inconvenience was the outhouse, a few yards from the back door. That first night, we made dinner, watched a movie, and fell asleep on the couch. The forest outside was utterly silent, the snow muffling everything. I didn't know then that silence could feel so unnatural. I woke up early, groggy and needing to use the bathroom. I threw on my boots and trudged to the outhouse. The snow was fresh, untouched, except for a single set of footprints. They circled the cabin. Slowly, deliberately, I called Rebecca outside, and she paled when she saw them. "It's probably a bear," she muttered, voice tight. But the prints didn't look like paw marks. They looked human. We brushed it off and went snowboarding, trying to ignore the unease hanging over us. We didn't get back until after dark, the forest already swallowed by shadows. We lit a fire, blasted music, and cracked open beers. The storm outside thickened, snow falling in heavy sheets against the windows. At some point, I needed the bathroom again. I grabbed my phone and braved the blizzard for the outhouse. The wind howled through the trees, and the snow bit into my face like needles. Halfway through, I heard it. Crunch, crunch, footsteps. They passed by the outhouse, slow and steady. I called out for Rebecca, but the footsteps didn't stop. They faded toward the cabin. I rushed back, heart hammering, and saw fresh footprints leading to the front door. I banged on it, yelling Rebecca's name. The door yanked open, and she pulled me inside, locking the door behind me. Her face was pale, her eyes brimming with terror. "Someone knocked," she whispered. "I thought it was you, but..." The way they knocked, her voice broke. It wasn't normal. It was slow, deliberate. 3 knocks. And then, I saw him. My blood ran cold. "Saw who?" "There was a man," she whispered, shaking. "He walked around the house. He looked in the windows." I turned off the lights and hid. We sat in the dark, listening to the storm rage outside. Then the footsteps returned. Slow, heavy, coming to a stop right outside the front door. I grabbed one of her dad's rifles from the hidden cellar compartment and crept to the window. Rebecca clung to me, her breath shallow. I peered through a crack in the curtain. At first, I saw nothing, just the swirling snow. But then, my eyes adjusted, and I saw him. A figure stood at the tree line, tall and motionless, his face obscured by the falling snow. He didn't move, didn't flinch, just stood there, staring at the cabin. I threw the door open and fired into the air, screaming at him to leave. The figure didn't run. He just melted into the woods, vanishing into the storm. We didn't sleep. At first light, we packed the car and fled. We didn't talk much on the drive back. Rebecca gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles went white. I scrolled through my phone, trying to distract myself, and then I saw something that made my stomach drop. I had taken a few pictures on the slopes the day before. In the background, among the trees, there was a figure, far back, watching us. I flipped through more photos. The figure appeared again, closer this time. I broke into a cold sweat, my fingers trembling as I swiped through the images. In the last photo, taken right before we left the resort, he was there again, standing at the edge of the parking lot, facing the camera, closer, smiling. We never went back to that cabin. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder, did we escape him? Or did he just let us go?